Right, we are as a magister. They had things called
Starting to
as a magister. They had things called masters. Not calling myself a magister here, but basically he would be in front of a large crowd of people, and you could ask him questions about anything. So it was kind of like a meeting of the minds of any topic, pretty much. It could be about faith, philosophy, sports, whatever. Well, they weren't talking about sports as much back in the 12th, 13th century, right? But the point is, you could ask them questions about anything. I remember back when I was at Rutgers, when I was a freshman at Rutgers, there was a number 5 help, and basically you could ask any question. Like, you call up if there's any college students that are struggling. People could just call up that number 5 help, and I remember that they were just there for people. So just being a resource. So that's kind of what I'm doing right here, right now, that I could do for you. If you have any questions, anything I could help you with, I'm happy to answer those. Got to be hydrated. Hydration is critical. Actually, interesting thing. So this is actually a soda stream. So it's pretty much a seltzer maker. I like the bubbles. I like the carbonation. I'm a recovering soda addict. All right. So I mean, not exactly, but essentially, I always drank a lot of soda growing up, sadly, and I worked my way from regular soda to diet soda to basically no soda, going seltzer. And then I find out more recently that I have acid reflux. So I say, hey, I got to start cutting that out. So water is a much better option, obviously. So that's what we're doing. What do we have right here? 1 second. Just scrolling up. Wow. Go, Jay. Let's see if we connect here. Jay, I'm sorry. I must have missed you. I was seeing a couple waves here and there. The great Jay.
You gotta stay hydrated, brother.
I was just talking about that hydration.
I was watching, I know.
How have you been?
I've been really good. I finally shaved my head, and I didn't realize I was gonna look like Dr. Evil, so I'm regretting it. I missed my crew cut.
No, you're looking good.
I look like an egg that needs Botox.
Oh man, how's everything been holding up? How are you and your family during all this?
Oh, we're good. Everything's really good. I got my 8-year-old son, and we're doing really good, brother. Thank you for asking. You doing all right?
Yeah. You have one kid?
Yeah, my 8-year-old son, Mackie. He's gonna be my heavyweight. Saying like joyful. He's gonna be my heavyweight. He's gonna be my heavyweight.
Nice. So he's a wrestler too. He's a wrestler too.
He's 8 years old. I'm just now starting to teach him, single leg, double leg. I taught him a headlock, I taught him a front headlock, and I taught him like a nice sit out and a roll from a sit out. So it's pretty. And then I just walk away because I don't want to ruin it by being like Robert Duvall and the great Santini. Come on, get up.
That's right. Now, I started wrestling when I was 8. My brother Jeff when he was 7, and Greg when he was 6. So it's just kind of like, yeah, you're right. You want to keep it fun, especially at first.
Yeah, I learned. Adam Hunter coaches at Paul Revere on the west side of LA, and it's pretty much a Palisades High School. And he's such a great coach. I've been over there a lot with him, helping out once in a while. And you have to keep it fun, or you'll lose them. It's like training the bloodhound. Like, you got to be careful. It's just, it has to be fun. I learned a lot from watching guys like that. It's interesting when it becomes not fun. What age was that for you? Because you started wrestling way before I did. What age did it become like what it is?
I'd say, and it was because I didn't, I never heard anything about mindset training, but I mean, I was probably in early high school, probably freshman, really around sophomore year, where it was like I was pretty serious for 3 years in a row. And now it was like, it was pretty much all business. I wasn't enjoying myself before matches. Imagine against the Kyle Snyder or Jordan Burroughs, who says, man, I'm for this. You're going to have a hard time beating that guy. you know?
Wow. It's interesting. Did you get bored? Like, as you got really good at wrestling, did you find yourself getting bored, or were you more drawn to the meticulous repetition of something like a master would become, like, you know, when you got to shoot singles all day, just getting into that rhythm? Did you hate it? Did you get bored, or were you drawn to the minutia?
I think it just becomes a part of you. To be highly successful in any field, you just kind of like internalize that process. And it's like, yeah, this is what I do, pretty much.
Do you feel?
But I would have had
like,
some. Yeah.
No, I mean, I was leading the witness with my question. I feel like we all turn a corner. It's all like after your freshman year, it's all between the years, really. To me, I believe it's all mental, and I feel like you have to we know to find comfort in the discomfort. I'm saying, like, joyful rhythm to somehow, where that's like what you love to do, like the little things that are mostly boring to other people.
Yeah, no, I think so, definitely. And it's really, I mean, because you have moves that work. It's kind of like when you're playing video games, if you're playing like a Mortal Kombat, and then you find a move that you could keep beating the person with, so you keep wanting to press that move. It's kind of like that.
Right. Yeah, I wanted your take on that because I respect you so much, and all the guys over there are great. And I'm glad you guys have me on. This is my first Instagram live. I'm not even sure what the hell's happening. It's kind of like Periscope, but it's on Instagram. Yours is mounted, obviously. I'm holding my phone in front of a mustard-colored wall. Ugh. I'm just getting the hang.
You give me too much credit. I got up against my wall. I don't have my phone mounted. It's just up against my wall.
All right. I thought maybe you had it stuffed and mounted. I don't know how you work with phones. What's going on? Like, what's happening? What do you want to get? This is so great you're doing the live stream. Like, what's obviously your goal probably to reach wrestlers when they're stuck in their homes. I just find that admirable. Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, for us, it's pretty much business as usual because it's a virtual business. So it's when we work with individuals, we work with them over the phone, and teams we work with, probably 90% of them we work with on Skype. Like even when we were working with the Olympic team, we were working with them on Google Hangout. So some of them were at Colorado Springs, the Olympic Training Center, and some of them were at different regional training centers across the country. So it's the perks of modern technology, right?
That's really great, man. And I like that you guys are using it to your advantage because guys like you who should be heard a lot. You guys are, I love your content. I was texting with you guys. Your content's always great. It's never a wasted post. It's never like a cat with an eye patch hanging from a tree saying Mondays are a bummer. It's always something really great. So just good job, man. I love it. I love following you guys.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it, Jay. I got started with my brother, Jeff. So I was the psychology guy. He was more like the business guy, the economics guy in college. We always grew up, best friends, wrestled together in college and everything. And we wanted to start this business. And he's able to do all the very good things that I stink at pretty much. So he takes care of all of social media, all of the financials. So I get free to just pump out content, make videos, write the curriculum, like do sales, all the stuff that I like to do. So I wouldn't be able to do it without having my brother by my side and our good team.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff. What's up, buddy? Nice, good.
Yeah. And our team, we've grown to have 80 coaches across the country, 80 mindset coaches. Most of them were former level wrestlers in college, most of them. But we've expanded to other sports since then. So,
what for you running everything? What does somebody need to achieve for you to get your stamp of approval to send them out into the world as a quote unquote mindset coach? Like, there's no real document, there's no diploma, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is it you need to see in that person for you trust them with your name?
So we have a certification process. We have a general manager now that actually was one of our teammates back at the University of Pennsylvania, Jake Hunter, and he takes care of that. And so we have that certification process, and also we just
they have some. Oh wow, cool.
And then we have and then also you kind of look at the resume to see if they were involved in any, like, they don't have to necessarily be a trained counselor, but like, were they a coach of some sort? Were they a mentor of some sort? Can they speak in front of people? And you kind of look at that. That's kind of like the eyeball test there. You speak to them a little bit. They go through the process. And They're up and running.
Wow. I want to be a mindset coach.
Make it happen.
All right. Yeah. I mean, the guys that I coach with are so light years ahead of me as far as technique and teaching technique. I was taught like the Atari 2600 version of wrestling, like where your fireman's carry, you just look like an oil derrick. And these kids, like every kid I coach is so superior to me as far as technique. So all I have is between the ears and just bring a brawl. Just bring a brawl. Yeah.
But that's a big deal. And the fundamentals of anything. I mean, so I always look at it. So when I think about it now, since we've expanded from wrestling, the success principles are the same, whether we're talking about being a successful athlete, successful student, successful actor, right? There's certain principles that are in line. Confidence is confidence. Mental toughness is mental toughness, no matter what you're doing, right? Even taking the SATs, job interview, saying no to drugs and peer pressure, whatever it might be. You know, we have these kind of strategies that you would use across the board. So it's important, like you said, the fact that you're able to, you're being able to relate to people. That's a big deal. That's an important part of being a coach. There's a lot of coaches that are good with the X's and O's, but they're not very good at getting through to people.
It's probably like, for me, it's the most important part of my job is communicating, because these are kids. It's somebody else's kids, and you're being trusted with somebody else's kid. I call it emotional athleticism. We have to have emotional athleticism. Like, we have to be so quick on our shot to speak with somebody, because their windows are closing so fast of attention, especially now, you know, with phones and everything and social media. So when you talk to a kid, you have to catch that window open at the right time, and whatever you're saying has to be right. You can't be wrong. You have to be right. And it has to reinforce the trust the kid already has in you. Like, it has to be like a treasure with the message. You know, it's all communication and getting them to like really believe that you love them and that you want more for them than you could ever want from them. You know, they're magnificent kids, and nobody's limit is what they think it is. And it's just, I love coaching because I'm an alcoholic in recovery. I like to give with conditions. I send you a thank you card, and a couple of weeks go by, I don't hear from you. I'm like, what's up with this guy? Man, Gene's like, I get stiffed by Gene on a thank you for my thank you. That's kind of, I'm the only one with that resentment. You know, that's not what you give. And when I coach, they can't give me anything back. There's nothing they can give me back. It's like the only time I'm selfless, which is, it's a beautiful feeling. It's not because of anything I'm doing. It's because of wrestling, you know? So, but they can't give me anything back but feel great about themselves. And so I just owe that to the sport to just make somebody see that they're better than they think, I guess. I went off on a little rant there. That's
phenomenal. I love to hear your take on that, because it's true. Us too. We're using sports as a vehicle to build virtue, right? It's never just about, like, of course we want to see them be massively successful. Yeah, we work with the high level teams, but okay, now how are they relating these lessons to school and to life? And like you're saying, just being able to give, it's a great thing.
It's interesting. I'll tell a kid, I want you more happy than I want you to wrestle. Because I do.
That's
because
important.
In a wrestling room, you ask a kid a question about an injury, they really kind of go, like they're really searching for the answer they think you want to hear.
Right.
Because they don't, the way you and I were coached, it was like, you ought to be out there, get on the mat. That's not the way it works these days, unless you go, I guess, to college or like a maniac program. Like, you got to connect. Like, when what your questions just have to be the question that it is, without like ulterior motives and stuff. And they got to know that you want them happy and you really care. I feel that's really been missing from coaching, certainly when I was like in high school and junior high. And it might be, but it's alive because of, wrestling mindset, for crying out loud. You guys, you really carried a torch for that. And I'm just following your lead, man.
That's awesome. So,
are you from New Jersey?
Originally New Jersey. Now I'm in New York City.
Where in New Jersey?
Edison.
All right, yeah, by Rutgers. I'm from Verona. My whole family went to Rutgers.
Yeah, I was at Rutgers for 3 years. My brother Greg went all 5 years.
I love it. It's great, man. Paisan.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so I was at Rutgers for 3 years. Went to Penn for my last 2 years. Jeff was at Penn for all 5 years. Wrestlers are on the 5-year plan with the red shirt. and our brother Greg was at Rutgers for all 5 years. He was the best out of the three of us. He was a two-time academic All-American. He's now he's in Rome studying to be a priest.
Who's Jeff? No.
Greg, our youngest brother. The
Greg.
best wrestler out of the three of us, yeah.
I love that he's going to be a priest. That's what a calling. Wow. That's profound, man. To have that calling.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. That just knocked my socks off. I love hearing that.
You know, he had a girlfriend of 3 years. He broke up with her. And it was a hard decision and everything, but he was just really feeling that God. And actually, so get this is a crazy story, Chase. So he actually, while he was in Italy, of course, before the whole Corona thing, he was training with the guy, Abraham Cagneto, who was number 3 in the world. He was a bronze medalist in the world championship. So he would study in the seminary near the Vatican, and then he'd go over to Ostia, the Italian Olympic Training Center, and work out with that guy once a week.
That's a movie. Like, there should be a movie about your brother Greg. Father Greg. The movie's called Father Greg, yeah. Far out, man. God bless him. He has.
Thank you. I see Palisades on there, which is great because actually across the river from me in New York City, I'm right by the George Washington Bridge. I'm literally
Jersey?
There's a Palisades Park over here. Yeah. Palisades Park.
This is Palisades, Los Angeles. It's like between the Santa Monica Pier and Malibu. But
awesome.
Up on a hill, though. It's not like on the water. It's beautiful. Yeah. But the kids on the wrestling team, I would say a third of them are from either Koreatown, Mid-Wilshire, South Central, Watts. Like, these guys take a bus to a train or a train to a bus to get to school. You know, it's amazing. Like, my school was like down the street from my house. I just went. It was like not even a quarter mile.
Yeah.
These guys, like, if I had to take a bus and a train, I'd still be in 3rd grade right now. I'd still be trying to learn my times tables. Yikes! But
you're right.
They're great kids. You know, look. You know, they say wrestling builds character, and the addendum I put on that is it builds character, but more than that, it reveals it.
Yeah.
There's no bad guys in a wrestling room. You've never been in a wrestling room and met some ass like, ugh, because the bad guys quit before they're exposed. Because it reveals all character. Like, there's truth serum in the walls in a wrestling room. Nobody like BS's. Nobody lies.
It's just such a holistic sport. It requires all of you between making the weight, the hard work, that it's like, if you're not all in, you're pretty much out.
You really have to be present. It's really a martial art. I mean, it is a martial art, but it's also so much a martial art in being here now. Like, you know, you see guys on bottom, and you can tell they're thinking. I go death by thought. Like, no good. I want you to vibe. You can't be thinking. You'll get murdered under there. Yeah. And like, you got to be. If you're thinking, you're planning. Like, you got to go. You have to be completely right now. Like in a fight, it's great. Yeah. When you're in the room, you have to be all the way in the room. Everything's got to be checked at the door. But when you leave the room, take as much of the room out with you as you can. Wear it all night, all day, all night. What you did in that room, take that out with you. Whatever was out with you, don't bring it into the room, but take the room out with you, definitely.
No, you're nailing it. We actually have a full 6-part series on staying in the present moment, not drifting too much into the past or being in the future, but actually mindset exercises geared to what you're saying. Staying in the present moment.
Where would I go look at those exexercises? Where would a fan no, I mean, but if a guy off the street, like, where do I that fascinating? Like, where do I go? Do I go to your website? Do I go?
Yeah, they would go to.
Or is that a partial?
Yeah, well, they would go to zwinningmindset.com, and then individuals, we take them through worksheet by worksheet. We have 80 lessons basically that we would take the kid through one lesson at a time throughout the course of the year, and a team we would take them through weekly mindset sessions as the team. So like a strength coach for the mind.
Oh, it's a whole course. I got it.
Yeah.
It's a whole course. Yeah. I get it. Okay, I'm sorry. I get it. That's why you.
Yeah, it'd be like having a personal trainer for the mind. The personal trainer shows you the lift, and then you go and do it. The mindset coach explains the mindset exercise, takes you through it.
I love it, man. I'm in. I really want to take those classes. I love that stuff. And the fact that you have a 6-part thing about being present.
Yeah.
Bro, like, my brother, you're my brother. Like, that's what's up. Because look,
That's right.
if you're angry, you're in the past. If you got worry, you're in the future. If you're right now, it's pretty great. You know,
Right.
Anybody out there, like anything you're pissed off about, it's like, it's not here. Like, you got to, you know, people go easier said than done. Not really. No. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting to change and go back and forth and commute between realities of the future that hasn't happened. So you're making believe something happened, and then you have contingency plans about a fantasy land that you've created, and then you come back to present tense, and then you're angry about something. It's like, no wonder people don't get enough sleep. They're in 3 different dimensions all day.
Yeah, you're right. That's a real good point. That's right. Hey, how do you think that relates, Jay? How do you think that relates the mindset to acting and to comedy? Because that's a performance. A performance is a performance, right?
Well, you really have to be. I think they both. This is interesting to me. Conversation. That's a really cool question, man. I love it. It's very odd. All 3, I'll call them occupations: wrestling, acting, stand-up comedy. They're 3 where you have to be present to be great at them, or good at them. To be pretty good at them, you have to be present. Like when you're acting, your mind can't be wandering about, you know, what's going to be for lunch, because you're not hearing what the other person, you know. And if you're doing stand-up comedy, you have to be present. Like, we're not thinking in our heads. I've been doing it 33 years though, bro. So
Yeah.
I'm not thinking, guys that are just headliners internationally, you're not thinking in your head like, after this I do this, and then you say, it just is such a repetition. And even all your ad libs are just, I hear them the same time like the audience does. It's the most present. Like Buddhist monks meditate for years to try to get to that level of presence. And I'm not bragging about me. It's more, I'm fascinated by it. And yeah, with wrestling, I think they're all very similar. There are 3 things you have to be completely present at, or you can't be above average at them. Like you park cars and daydream all day. You know, you can, it's all about presence. Be here now. Be here now. Be here now. Be the here and be here now. Be the be and be here now. Be the now. But when guys will say like they're getting bored of a drill, I always say nobody ever, huh? We're losing each other here. There you are. There's a handsome man. When guys say, like if a kid says to me, like something's boring, a drill, I'll tell them, nobody ever got bored getting better in the history of mankind. No one has ever been getting better and been like, ugh. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they lose a game, they do 1,000 free throws. Larry Bird would miss 990 and go back to 0. They were just doing free throws at 4 a.m. They weren't bored. Gretzky never got bored taking shots. Like,
yeah.
If you're bored, you're not present. If you're bored, you're not present.
Yeah.
If you're bored, you're not here. You're not here if you're bored.
Right.
So that goes back to the other thing I was asking you about, finding the love of the minutia. Like I could do a drill all day. I could do a drill for hours. One drill, like over, like whatever, tight waist, far ankle, tight. I will just become like obsessed with getting like better and better and better. You know, that's because that's all right here. That was a good question, man.
And there's presence. There's being in the present moment when you're practicing, and then there's also being in the present moment while you're performing, right? Because I'd assume that like an aspiring actor, a beginner actor, or even probably later on in their career, you don't want to think about getting the job. You don't want to think about like the other person liking it. Like you have to be attentive to the audience, but you can't be controlled by the audience. Like you're seeing where they're at, but at the same time, you're not thinking the whole time, do they like me? Do they think I'm funny? All that stuff.
You know a lot about comedy. Did you do comedy?
No.
You just completely explained my existence as a comedian. That was really weird. I was like, oh, I didn't know he did comedy. Yeah. You're not I have nothing to add. That you kind of blew me away that you just nailed comedy like that. But you're not, the audience is external validation. And if you're relying on external validation longer than, your teen years, you're on a hamster wheel, you're going to get run to the ground. So a scale, for example, like before you get on the scale, I'll tell life coach clients that I have, write down how you feel about yourself right before you get on the scale. And before you get on the scale, make sure you know that your internal validation is what you wrote down. The external validation is the number, and it can't change how you feel. It's not that power, it's a number. Like if I get on the scale because I feel really good and I've been running, I just did a whole bunch of dips. I was swimming in the ocean and I get on a scale and it's 1 pound over, 2, 3, 4 pounds. I'm like, oh man, like why am I upset? I got on the scale because I felt great. That's what's real, you know? So write down how you feel before you get on the scale. Then when you get on the scale, go, whatever, because I still feel the way I wrote down. So that's internal validation versus external validation. When you're doing stand-up comedy, I have to trust my compass that it's going the way I want it to go. And there's nights when once in a while you get an audience that's just pretty quiet.
Yeah.
It's like driving with like one flat tire. The whole car's like, wah, 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 wah. So like, even though you're doing your stand-up in your head, it's like, and then if you, as long as you don't like criticize them, when it's done, they'll give you like a standing ovation. They were watching a show. They were just quietly like at Broadway or something.
Yeah.
I can remember when that's happened to me. I was in Tempe, Arizona. I came from a movie set. It was Jerry Maguire. And I went on stage at the Tempe Improv. I still have my suit on without the tie from the movie. And I did an hour and a half, and it was so quiet the whole time that I just kept doing more time, seeing if I could win them over. And I was like, what the heck is going on? There's a gas leak in here or something. And then I said goodnight. 600 people stood up, standing ovation. I'm like, I was just miserable for an hour and a half because I didn't think they were having a good time. And I realized I was entirely not present. So I was really lucky that they liked it as much as they did. So you just like wrestling, like, you know, it's really interesting. I never realized that. All three are about like.
I think you nailed it because there is you said you have to trust what you're doing, right? Like you can't be overly focused about who's watching, what they're saying, but you're trusting what you're doing. A lot of people don't realize that the Latin roots to the word fidere means to trust. You have to trust. In order to have confidence is about trust. So you're trusting that you're doing your thing. And of course, that comes from hours and hours of preparation. And then you get in front of the people and maybe it's quiet. I've seen this before because I'm not a comedian, but I'm a professional speaker. So when I'm in front of audiences, sometimes you don't know. There's some audiences that are just alive and they're all about it. And then you have other ones that it's just crickets. And I've learned to not interpret the silence as you're necessarily doing bad. Sometimes they're just retaining all the information throwing out.
What was the Latin thing you said? Something was from Latin?
Confidere, confidence. The word confidence is confidere, which means to trust. So confidence is all about trust.
And as you said earlier, confidence is confidence.
Yeah. That's what
I wrote it down. I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes on Wrestling Mindset Podcast.
That's the way.
Confidence is confidence. I liked it, so I wrote it down. And then you said, you know, confidere means, you know, confidence. Trust means confidence. Yeah. You know, yeah, you ask questions. Because I'll just keep going and going. And I'd way rather ask questions than just keep talking.
No, I just like to shoot the breeze. I go, hey, meeting of the minds, right?
I also have a little sunstroke. I was out on the ocean for about 2.5 hours fishing from a paddleboard.
That's awesome.
That's why I was beat red. And I didn't know I had the same balding pattern as Rick Carlisle, coach of the Dallas Mavericks.
No, it's good stuff. We actually been expanding. One of the things we did, we also have a weight loss mindset program and sales mindset. We broke it into corporate America because, like you said, the principles are the same. And I'm having one of my friends who is like a Broadway actor, an aspiring Broadway actor, make like an acting mindset. Having someone else who does symphonies and music create a music mindset where it's basically the same lessons. The essence is the same, but now it's specific to music, to acting, to sales, to weight loss. Because it is the same thing.
Stand-up mindset.
Yeah, I remember seeing Joe Rogan post something about that a while back on Twitter. He said if anyone knows a good like sports psychologist to work with on performing, on stand-up, it's very mental.
Yeah, it's you know, I think the common thread for all the things that we do, I'm trying to find light work. Can you see me all right?
You're good.
I think life is really attendance and repetition. And
Yep.
so is wrestling. Like nobody goes to wrestling every day all 4 years of high school and is the same as when they came in. Everybody gets better. Everybody.
Yep.
It's never happened. Nobody's ever been cut because they stink. It's one sport where you don't get cut because you're not good enough. Everybody in the room's like, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. You know, that's love. That's trust. And that's confidence. Because if there's a bunch of fish in every wrestling room, it's like, you'll be all right, man. You know, and guys are helping those guys. You know, it's repetition, it's attendance. We complicate things so much, but it's just, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever, it saved my life a bunch of times, you know. There was times I was depressed. I have depression, and I have to be a mental health advocate. I have to talk about it because somebody might be depressed watching this, but I'll say to every guy watching this, the most manly thing you'll ever do in your life is ask someone for help.
Yes.
You can't fix it. You're not a psychopharmacologist or a psychiatrist. You need somebody that does that to help you. And when you ask for help, that's manly. I swear to God, I love you. I've been there. So that said, there's been times I've been laying in bed. I was so depressed. I couldn't get out of bed for 2.5 days. My dogs were in the bed. They had peed in the bed. I had Gatorade bottles. I couldn't move. And I got a text from Coach Dan at Crespi High School, getting choked up saying it. And the text said, I need you to run practice today. Something came up. I didn't have to get my act together. I was up on my feet. I was in the bed 72 hours with just like depression. What's the point? I read the text. Bang. I didn't have to go like, okay, get it. I was up. I was out the door, and I had joy.
Yeah.
And I went, that's the most powerful drug I've ever taken in my life, and that is being of service to wrestling.
Yeah.
That really saved me a lot, over and over.
No, you're right on point, because it's getting you outside of yourself, right? Anytime we get sad, anytime we get down, I mean, I had to learn this stuff to be a school psychologist, that anytime we get down on ourselves, it's that we're turning inward on ourselves. It's overly focused on me, right? And then when it became about the kids and I got to help out, it pulls you outside of yourself. So
you're speaking the language I like speaking, man. Like, this is the best. Thank you for having me on, because I'm being serious. Like this is, yeah. We could do this all night. You're right. When I've had depression, when like the towers came, was when I beat myself up about the way I was feeling. Like, if I was depressed, I was like, why are you so depressed? Like, what's wrong with you? So anybody that's watching this, don't beat yourself up over your feelings, because then it just keeps caving in on yourself. And the fact that you just mentioned that blew my mind, because that's really when I discovered I'm free falling and on fire, is when I start criticizing myself for like the way I feel. You know, like going,
yeah,
what you just said, like getting out of my own head. And the best way to get out of my own head, and being in a 12-step program and being a Catholic, is to be of service. And that's, so when you're helping somebody else, you're being selfless, and that gets paid back. The universe is fair. Yep. Life isn't fair, but it is fantastic. And part of that is you get what you need, you know?
Yeah. And that's like you said, you getting outside of yourself. So one of the things we tell our athletes and just people in general is, instead of asking why questions, like why me, or like what's wrong and all that kind of stuff, instead asking how questions. Well, how can I do this? How can I help? How can I get better? How can I have a little bit more fun? Or maybe you're not at a point where, how could I be happier? That's a tough question. How do I make this stink less? Right? And then when you ask those how questions, it puts you in the driver's seat, as opposed to being at effect in the world. Instead of asking why, start asking how. That's amazing. That's like a big breakthrough. That's great. That's profound, man. How? So if I'm hypothetically, like, I'm
My mother's an alcoholic and she's a maniac. She lives with me. I'm resentful of that. Like So
Yeah.
instead of like, why do I have to do? How am I living like this? How
Or how
do
could,
I stop this? That's
yeah.
fantastic. That's amazing. Because
Yeah.
how's a word of action, and why is
Yeah.
why never ends. It's inquisitive and it's an amorphous thing. You can always keep going, yeah, but why that? Little kids do it all the time. But why? But why? Wow, you just blew my mind. I wrote that down too. Instead of why, how.
That's good.
I heard
No,
this
it's,
the other day. When
yeah.
you're talking to people, are they hearing stop or go? I know. I just thought it was cool.
Real good point.
Hey, yeah, could you bring me my glasses? They're I think they're behind my bed, behind the headboard.
That's a real important point.
Next to stuff you probably shouldn't see. My collection of Full House DVDs.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. No, I'm just being a goof. Go ahead, my brother.
No, we're saying, yeah, just what we're saying, I guess, just in general, yeah. The questions, the words you use are the first link in the chain, right? Your words impact your thoughts impact your behaviors, and then your behaviors impact your outcomes, your destiny, right?
Right.
So the words we use are the first link in the chain. So we have a whole mindset lesson geared towards simple word changes you could make that are going to have a big impact. So like we said there, changing why to how, changing the word problem to challenge. A lot of people say they have a problem. No, you have a challenge. And when you use that word, all of a sudden it doesn't feel as bad. You start getting like a jolt of energy as opposed to getting discouraged. Nobody likes problems. Everyone likes challenges.
Will you give me the order of those again that you said? You said them in a row, like something, words, thoughts.
Oh, yeah. So your words impact your thoughts. Then your thoughts impact your behaviors. And then your behaviors impact your outcomes, your destiny. I can send all the stuff to you. It's in the curriculum. I'll send it to you, Jay.
It's great. Really great. What's really interesting to me is you have words before thoughts. Because we have thoughts all day.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is the business model that works. So it's so cool what you're really kind of like, it's like a house on fire in me now. You fired me up, man. This is cool. I got one. Yeah. Instead, people say like, "Oh, I don't like confrontation." I say, "Why don't you change that word to information? Instead of confronting that person, why don't you get information from them?" And that's the how.
Yeah,
I'm realizing now, like, oh,
right.
This guy owes me money, but now I got to go confront that guy. Or you go up to that guy and go, "Hey, I was just curious if you remember the thing." Well, money's a bad example. That winds up with somebody getting punched in the nose, but you know what I mean.
No, that's
so
right.
Instead of confrontation, just go get information.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going right along with the theory that we're saying. Like, you want your words to be positive, you want them to be proactive, and you want them to be logical. You want them to be all three: positive, proactive, and logical. Things that put you in the driver's seat as opposed to being at effect in the world. And that's right. Confrontation is a word, we want to stay away from it. Okay, get information. I like it.
Well, feel free to use it. Have you noticed how often the words people use to sort of feather the nest for what their redirect to answer, if you think the first answer is wrong? Let me rephrase all this. Have you noticed, speaking with your clients and things like that, a bunch of tells that people have that what they're saying, they're not really confident in what they're saying? I'll give you an example. Like, if you ask a teenager anything, they go, "What?" They hurt you. They hurt you. But there's more kids of divorce now that when you and I were kids, or I'm much. Half of the kids are divorced parent kids. So they go from one house to another. So the hat I wear over here is not necessarily, it's definitely not the same hat I wear over there. One parent's less strict, the other parent's more strict. So I got to react differently in that house than that. And that's every week. So by the time you go out into the real world, you're always measuring your response, and you kind of feather the net. You buy a little second to make sure what you're saying is all right. Where you're saying what? Like, you can say to a kid, "How old are you?" They'll go, "What?" 15. Yeah. They heard you, they answered you, but they still say what? And it's just them like buying time. It's interesting. I've noticed that a lot.
Yeah,
When
you
people,
see
when
that?
people tell me their goals are to possibly, I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
Stop right there. Like, what the F are you even talking? Like, you are full of SH.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you hired me, because I'm the only person to tell you, get the out of here.
Yeah.
Your goal is to possibly stop. No, my goal is the goal. There's no possibly about it.
Try. That's one of the word choices that we have. You nailed it. You don't realize, but that's one of the things we talk about. We tell them eliminate the word try because it's just soft language, and really it's just kind of like a buffer for yourself. Like, oh, well, if I don't do it, like, okay, so if you don't do it, you don't do it. Big deal. But just say, I'm going to do 30 pull-ups. Maybe you miss it. Who cares?
I love it. That made me think of one I use a lot, and that's no, don't set goals, set results. Goals move. Everybody goes to the gym with a goal like, oh, I'm gonna put on 15 pounds of muscle, but they keep going to the gym, they hit their goal. So set results because results already happened. So like at this time, next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, I will have done 1,000 push-ups. I will have written a chapter, whatever. And then you write them down, and then you have to do them because they happened.
Yeah.
You just said they happened. So
Yeah.
you have to go do them. And when it's a goal, it's like, yeah, I didn't hit that goal. It's like, you know, hey, I thought you were going to Arizona State. Nah, now I'm going to this El Camino College instead. You know, like, all right, well, your goals stink. Goal setters, they don't do much. They reset their goals.
It's one of those things. I see what you're saying. It's like there needs to be more than just an outcome goal. So like that's what we have. We have a 5-part series on goal setting, just like we have a 6-part series on present moment, 5-part series on goal setting. We have one. Okay, what's your long-term goal? Sports, school, and life, right? And then also we say, what's your purpose? Because your purpose is more important than your goal, right? Your why.
Yes.
Yeah. So then you have your short-term goals. Again, sports, school, and life. And then after that, this is the part you're talking about. We have an action plan. So like let's in the sport of wrestling, you break it down into all the different areas of wrestling. Your technique, your mindset, your nutrition, strength, flexibility, rest and recovery, plyometrics, explosive power. I don't know if I said conditioning, but that's already like 9 different dimensions. Now, what's your action plan on a weekly basis? How many reps are you getting in? How many minutes are you spending on this? That's what you're saying right there. That's in your control. That's results as opposed to just the outcome goal. Yeah.
I dig it. I think in my experience, the biggest problem with goals is that it's plural. It's what are your goals? I like that you said it's singularly. What is your long-term goal? What is your immediate goal? What's your intermediate goal? The goal, like people have a to-do list. It's got 11 things on it. You're not doing it. There's no way. Yeah. I have index cards because you can only write so much on an index card. I can't use too many words.
Yeah.
I'll write on an index card things I have to do that day. Let's say there's 6 things. Then I look at those 6 things. Out of these 6 things, what's the thing that's moving me towards my purpose? What's the thing? Then I have another index card with just that on it. That goes in my mirror. The other one's still around. But every time I look at it, I know the other things are extra. And you said purpose, and I love that you said purpose, because your goal, the result should be moving you towards your purpose, whatever it is. And I forget where I read it, but a guy wrote, you take your spear of purpose, and you throw it as hard as you can into the future. Yeah. And then every day, whatever you do has to walk you towards that spear that you threw, so you can pick it up and throw it again. And you throw it again, and you throw it again. So if you're on Tinder while you're going to the bathroom dropping a deuce, guess what? You're going this way instead of that way. Right. That's why I haven't found my spear today. No.
Yeah, you can do a lot on the can if you're trying to be productive.
Yeah. And then you want my son. If I say I'm gonna go to the restroom, then we'll go ride bikes. He goes, "Give me your phone." Not a good idea to bring anything with you. Just do what you got to do and get out of there. Make it quick.
That's right. You don't want to waste time.
So the website is winningmindset.com.
zwinningmindset.com. Winning Mindset was like ridiculously expensive, so we just threw our last name in front of it, Zanetti. So zwinningmindset.com.
Good. This is I love what you're saying, man. I mean, I loved all your content and stuff on Instagram, and any link that you have, I always go because I got that trust. You haven't let me. That's what it is, like a podcast too. You have that audience because you've never let them down. You know what I mean? Like if I say, no, you need to listen to the Clash live at Shea Stadium to really get the magnificence of a live performance. It was pouring rain. They just came in from England. But like, they'll go do it on the podcast. Like any link you have on Instagram, I go because I know you've never let me down. It's great. That's that trust, man. That's that confidence.
That's right. That's right. There's the trust. There's the confidence. That's good stuff. You know, I'm sure it's the kind of thing we could do all night, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm happy to, anytime you want to talk, anytime you want to chat, whether it's on here,
I'll
put on a show, talk about it, whatever.
How often do you do this, Gene?
You know, with Instagram Live, I just started doing it since the whole Corona thing broke out. So that's been relatively new for me. We used to do like on Skype or Google Hangout or Zoom, things like that. But
well, how often do you think you'll be doing Instagram Live with interviews or whatever you were doing, you know?
Well, now I've been doing like multiple times a week and just kind of like meeting of the minds. Just talk to people because I love to hear other people's expertise. Like what you're saying, it's just I'm like, okay, that relates to what we're saying here, and how can we make this better? It's just it all goes together, you know, it all fits.
I asked because the advice I got when I started my podcast was I'm not comparing it to Instagram Live whatsoever, but for a podcast, I was told by Kevin Smith, who got me started in my podcast, he said it has to be the same day, the same time, the same day.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
They know that you know, like Monday, right. Oh, New York Times crossword. I like the Monday New York Times crossword. You know, Thursday, Cheers is on, you know, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking, because if you're locked in to, I don't know, you've just been doing this for a while, but I would love to come on and talk to it. If you want to do it once a month, whatever. I don't know if you're doing it every day. I don't know. You know, that's why I was asking.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to do that. No, and you're right about the podcast. And definitely certain forms of social media, you're better off doing it at certain times. And of course, like you want the maximum viewers, you want to help the most people, right? So you want to do it at those times. But for this, especially during this whole Corona thing, we've been doing that, but we've been just trying to pump out a lot of content. And my thought is, hey, let's just have some good conversations. Let's get the word out. Let's get your podcast out there. Let's get our podcast out there. Yeah. Just meeting of the minds.
I'd love people to know that Wrestling Mindset's going to go at this day, at this, you know, I don't know. I'm like, I love this brand already. Like, you guys are just the coolest. So like, I'm like, how do we make this bigger? Like, I know it's your thing, but I want to help. Like, I just love what you're doing. It's so where I think the sport, the next evolution of wrestling, I really believe is the focus on the mental. We do physical every day. We do nutrition every day. We do cardiovascular every day. We do technique every day. There's no day we don't do mental at all. Mostly. No. Like, where's the meditation? Where's the visualization? Are you visualizing your shot? Are you visualizing shooting through a guy? Are you putting him on skates when your chest hits his thighs? Is your head up? It didn't work. You're gassed. What happens? Feel exhausted. Like that stuff. I wish I had done that. You know.
No, you're nailing it.
I do it now before I coach. I do it now before I fight. You know, if it's like Wing Chun or Jiu-Jitsu or something, I'm always just like, I try. That's all I think about. I lay in bed. Like one of my guys will take me. Eric Smith, our captain, will take me down, and I'll be like, that was a fast high crotch. How? Like, I didn't even sprawl. And I'll lay in bed for a week going, how does that not happen again? It's just, I never stop thinking about it. It's like more rewarding than stand-up comedy.
Yeah. And
it has no money. It's my heart, you know, to be that passionate about, like, a kid took me out you know, last year's captain Luke, he got out. Nobody gets up from bottom when I'm on top. Nobody. I'm a terrible person on top. Like,
Nice.
it's not happening. I bleed here because I don't realize I'm headbutting the back of your head to keep your face down to the mat. Like, I like black out when I'm on top. They choose bottom. I'm like, okay. I mean, cool.
Hey.
That's that. And wow, you've just blown my mind today, bro. Like, look, hydrate. The certification for your coaches, that fascinates me because your name is on that. So if you certify, you can't afford to certify somebody where it looks negatively on Z wrestling winning mindset.
Yeah.
So if anybody from your stable goes anywhere to do what they're doing, there's a complete confidence that it's going to be done exactly the way it should. Like, that's a powerful thing, man. And wow, confidence is confidence. We got the instead of why, you should start asking how.
Yeah.
Words, thoughts, behaviors, outcomes. Eliminate the word try.
That's it.
Soft words like probably, ideally, soft words. Instead of goals, set results. The problem with goals is there's too many of them. You know, you're not going to the grocery store.
Right.
What's your long-term goal? I'm giving you a magic wand. Wave it. What happened? What is the result? Okay. This is great, man. I love it. This is the evolution of the sport, I think, is between the years.
And like you said, no one's really working. Like, most people don't really put a lot of time in it. Right. So whenever I speak at a coaches convention, any of our people that speak in any sport, we spoke at over 40 coaches conventions this past year across the country. And the first question we ask is, what percentage of the sport is physical? What percentage is mental? And they all say that it's like 90% mental. And then we say, okay, well, how much time are you training physically versus mentally? And they say 95% physical. And I say, you see a problem there? You know?
I'm surprised that many of them say it's 90% mental.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's all, not all, because you have to actually physically move your body, but it's close to all of it mental, because that's the human experience. Your life is mental. You don't learn to walk unless you got the mentality of, I'm tired of crawling. Why are these people are walking? This is bullshit. Like, all right, you know what? I'm doing that too, man.
Yep.
And then you fall down, you keep doing it. That's mindset. Before you have cognitive thought, you have mindset. Before you have cognitive thought, you're a winner.
Yep.
You didn't quit. So when people say they have fear of success, failure, I go, no, not likely. Fear of success. We fail all the time. I was late for wrestling mindset. I got stung by a bee on the beach. My foot's the size of a balloon. I spilt my coffee this morning. Here I am. I fail. We learn to walk. We fall down. We get up. Jumping bikes as kids, you got a ramp. You crash. You keep riding your bike. You're not afraid of failure at all.
Yeah.
We're afraid of success. Like, if I go to state and I win, then people are going to come up to me and say, you're amazing. And what if they're right? Then they'll really see me, and I'm not sure who I am because I don't really see me yet because I got a lot of stuff going on up here because I'm 15.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
These kids are
great.
so fantastic, man. It's just, you know, once a month when I'm driving home, I'll get choked up in my car thinking about practice. Literally, straight up. I'll cry twice a year. I'm driving home, and I cry.
Yeah.
It's the most beautiful thing. Mindset. It's kept me healthy. So, yeah, I'm gonna hit you up. I wanna take the courses.
Let's keep doing it.
Because I just love
these calls. Yeah.
I love curriculum. I love, I'm taking notes during a Instagram live.
That's it.
Buddy,
that's why you are who you are.
Let's do it again, please. This has been really rewarding for me, man. And I'm proud. I don't know you, but I'm proud of you, bro. I love you. I'm proud of you. Good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You always appreciate the time together. There it is. Look at the guns. The cannons.
Little bit, Billy. You got a little eye on yourself. A little bit. All right, my man. Bye, Gene.
All right.
I'll see you later, brother.
Sounds great, Jay. We'll do it again soon.
Yeah,
Take
please.
care. All right. Bye.